Hey everybody, it's Katie from Bobby Hair Studio, and today I'm gonna take you through kind of a color correction and tips on how to do bleach roots and just a whole bunch of stuff. So today basically I've got my client who's coming in with a faded pink color. She's really beautiful baby pink and she wants to try to go lilac. So I'm gonna show you how I do that today, and here's what she looks like before and here is what she looks like at the end of the appointment. So if you guys want to see what this looks like, make sure to continue watching, and also remember to follow us on Instagram at Bobby Hair Studio, follow me at vancity.blonde. Also remember to like and subscribe and turn on notifications for future tutorials. So let's get started. Today I'm actually mixing up a different formulation for my lightener for her scalp. This is something that probably not a lot of people have actually tried, but this is something that I've found that helps with the swelling of the lightener. As many people who use Schwarzkopf Blonde Me know that oftentimes the lightener can swell. So what I do is I mix up the powder bleach and then I also mix up a little bit of the clay bleach inside and mix with a 20 volume, and that actually helps with the swelling of the lightener. Something to keep in mind, the more of the clay lightener that you add into your powder lightener, the weaker your formula gets. So you might want to bump the developer or just use a tiny bit of the clay developer. Also, try this for the first time on a client that you know how they lift, and don't use it as experimental on a new client. Now I'm going to talk about my favorite brush for applications for bleach roots. This is the Framar, like teeny tiny brush. I don't know the name of it, but that's it next to the size of a standard brush. It's so small. It's amazing for getting into those corners and doing precise applications. So if you need a little bit more of an in-depth tutorial on exactly how I do my bleach roots, I have a few videos here which I'll tag up in the video, and you can go watch those first. But essentially, I'm going to show just a couple of quick tips on what I like to improve on for my bleach roots here, for anyone who's already seen the first tutorial. But if you haven't, go check that out because it's going to have a little bit more in-depth information. So here's a couple of tips that I have for you. I do like to work in very small sections and I like to use a small brush. This ensures that I get all of the corners of the hair and I don't miss any areas, but also that I don't overlap any areas. A really wide set brush is going to cause you to overlap and be a little bit more sloppy in your work, versus a small brush is actually quite quick because you can apply neatly and very quickly. I also find that going from the nape of the neck towards the top of the head actually creates a cleaner workspace. I am not flipping over any areas that have been previously bleached onto any other areas. So if you are a bleach root stylist, you might want to try this out. It's actually a lot faster than, working from top to bottom and then flipping everything back over, because that's when a bunch of loose hairs tend to get caught in these bleach roots and tend to snap. So I get like almost no breakage at all with my clients when I work from bottom to top, and it's just a habit that I formed for myself after trying it out a couple times, and I really, really like it. It's really clean and very easy, and again, virtually no breakage. Then once I'm done the back, I like to do the top, and I actually like to section out from the parting to kind of the temple area on either side of the head, and I like to do those sections before I do around the ear. And the reason is those sections can be a little bit harder to lift, and you want to make sure that the section that the client parts in is perfect and beautiful. And again, like with all my sections, I do saturate all the perimeter first, and then I work from the bottom of my section up towards the top. This makes sure that the section that I'm doing right now has a little bit more time to lift than the stuff that's around the ears, because what's around the ears is typically a little bit finer and lighter in color. It gets a little hotter, so it does lift a lot faster than this area. So that's a hot tip for any of you hairdressers out there who are having a hard time making sure that the top lifts to the same kind of like the same lightness as the back and everything else, because sometimes time is not on our side and we wash out too early and no one wants to do that. Also a hot tip, not really shown here, but what I like to do is behind the ear, I do like to place a foil on top of the bleached areas while they're lightening when I have finished my application. And what this does is it prevents the air from drying out the areas behind the ear too fast, because those areas tend to be notorious for getting banding. Obviously, as you guys know me, I like to do my 2 stars and a wish. And with this client, I should have done that, even though I didn't. I did it on my next client though, because I remembered, oh right, behind the ears tends to dry out a little faster. So she did have a little bit more warmth behind the ears, but that's okay. I'll get it next time. We're not about perfection, we're about progression. And once my client is finished processing, we're gonna go to the sink. And here she is in the sink. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to make that pink a slight bit more purpley toned, and the way that we do that is we mix together a little bit of Goodbye Orange, which is a blue shampoo by Schwarzkopf, and we mix a little bit of conditioner together. We don't wanna turn her hair green or any kind of crazy color, but we do kind of wanna turn that pink into as purpley of a color as possible so it can help aid in the purple color we have today. Now it comes time for our toner formula, and this isn't the final toner, this is the pre-toner. So her roots are still yellowy blonde and her ends are pink with some purple in them, and we don't want that inconsistency when we put on our final toner. So we actually have to pre-tone, and today we're doing that with Schwarzkopf 9.5/1, 819, and 6 volume, and that's gonna give her a lot of violet tones to even out her roots to her mids and ends. As you can see here, she's a much more even color and she's ready to be rinsed out, and then we'll put on our actual toner for today, which is a Pulp Riot toner, and I can't wait to show you guys how it turns out. So today we used an Express toner, and we used the Pulp Riot Express Moonstone and Violet and the Pulp Riot 6 volume developer. Little side note, for anybody who uses Express toners on fresh bleach scalp, do not use this on your clients with sensitive scalps. My scalp cannot handle this at all. It hurts so bad, but some clients can totally handle it. So just make sure you know your client before you put on an Express toner, because Express sometimes means lift. And if there's lift on a raw scalp, then it tends to hurt really, really bad. So only do this with your total trooper clients. After I've applied this to her root, I'm applying it all the way through her ends so that she gets a really, really even, consistent look all the way from root to end. And now that she's been washed out, here is her final result. I know that the sun has set a little bit, so it's a little darker in the salon now, but she's this gorgeous, I would call it like a pearly moonstone color. I really, really like this color. And the best thing about lilac tones is that when they rinse out really beautiful and blonde. So I hope you guys try this out. If you do, please tag me at vancity.blonde on Instagram so I can see your results. And if you like the result, make sure to comment below and follow us, like and subscribe, and show us a little bit of love on YouTube. Thanks guys, I hope you enjoy it.